Hi, my name is Himanshu Bhaskar and I have secured rank 308 in the Civil Services Examination 2022. I come from a defense background. So I took this field. This decision was made mostly during the lockdown period. When I saw the kind of help that people from the services could provide to the ordinary person. For example, the COVID relief camps were inaugurated, and also distribution of medicines during the lockdown period, so that really motivated me to join the service and contribute to the development of society. This year I think either the IPS or the revenue service income tax. So my optional subject was sociology, and while choosing the subject, I had certain parameters in mind. For example, the first thing that I looked at was the syllabus. So I thought that I could really do justice to the syllabus of sociology, as it had elements that I was already aware of, and I just had to study the perspectives, the theoretical perspectives, which were in sociology. Second, also, it has been a high scoring subject, as I'd seen the marks of the people who have cleared the examination in the past 5 to 10 years. So that was the basic motivation. Yes, this was my second attempt. So in my first attempt, I could not clear the main examination. So I would consider that to be the biggest setback. I got associated with Insights first through the indirect medium. That was the daily current affairs that the Insights team puts on their website. So they were really helpful, especially in the preliminary examination. And secondly, directly I was associated when I took a one-to-one session with Vinay sir for interview preparation. So I gave only three mock interviews, and that was the first one that I gave. And he really gave me good insights as to how I could improve my performance there. So I think family plays a very important role. The first role that they played was support. Firstly, in taking the decision to sit for the examination, and secondly, to persist. Even though I did not clear it for the first time, the support was constant, and that really motivated me to continue with my efforts and see the game through to the end. Social media, I use two mediums. One is YouTube and the second is Instagram. Instagram I use to connect with my friends, also who were my classmates earlier. So it really kept me on my toes, because I could see them, they had already gone into different fields. So I was motivated by seeing them also. And also it was a great stress buster, as I could speak to my friends. The second medium was YouTube. I use YouTube both for study purposes and also entertainment. So, study purposes, like if I could not understand some concept, I could just easily YouTube that particular concept and understand it. And entertainment also, like various shows were there, like aspirants and also stand up comedy. So I would say that the second point is more pertinent when I talk about sports and preparation. So I think there was no trade-off, like giving up sports for studies or vice versa. I think sports is a great helper in this journey, because it keeps the body fit, but with that it also builds in us a sense of mental durability and stamina. So for example, we used to study the whole day, and then in the evening when I used to go for the run, I used to really freshen up. So after that I had the energy to go back and then again sit back for study. My notes were handwritten only. I use that strategy because I think it is very easy to make amends in handwritten notes. And also, I think there is a certain amount of writing practice that also goes into making handwritten notes. So that is why I chose that strategy. So I saw this year's prelims examination, and no doubt the level of mathematics questions has gone up. So, with regards to that, I would only say that it is a qualifying paper. We need to get 66 marks. So, I think the role of the comprehension passages has gone up drastically. So, I think they are at a similar level as they were, let's say, 5 years ago. So, I think focusing more on comprehension and getting them right would be better. And also the mathematics questions, which are very straightforward and easy. So I think if these two fields are covered properly, then even if some questions are of a very difficult level, people can easily clear. I think when I see the three stages of the examination, the most difficult part is to study the same thing from different perspectives. For example, the chapter that I study for preliminary examination, I would have to make certain mental adjustments when I study that for the main examination, and even more adjustment when I study that same chapter for the interview. So that way, I think those small changes have to be made for each stage for the same information or data. Right in the beginning only, as the chairman sir, who was also the chairman of UPSC at that time, Dr. Manoj Soni, he was my chairperson, and he had asked a question regarding folk dances in India. So there, I think I named 4 or 5 folk dances, and then by mistake I said Kathakali. So all the 5 members, they started laughing at that, and he asked me, "Are you sure? Have you practiced Kathakali, or you know what is Kathakali?" So I just casually I said, "Sorry, sir. I think that is a classical dance." So I think that was the most memorable thing. Distractions, I would say, would be different family events that were taking place. So, since I come from a very large family, my extended family had a lot of events at that time. So, I had to really prioritize where I would go and where I had to leave that. So, for that, I think my family also really supported me. So, for example, the places that I could not go, my parents would go there, and also they did not pressurize me to attend the events when, let's say, the prelims was closed. So that way, I think I managed to overcome them. So apart from sports, I like to read non-fiction books and also watching different docu-series on OTT platforms like Netflix. Recently, I have read the book Azad. It is an autobiography of former Congress member Dr. Ghulam Nabi Azad. Other than that, I also read Not Just an Accountant by Shri Vinod Rai, and also Bureaucracy Gets Crazier by M.K. Kao. So these were the three latest non-fiction books. And in the docu series, I recently saw The Hard, that was on Amazon Prime. It has Sonakshi Sinha as the lead role. Very important for sociology also, as it has a lot of intersectionality there. So that was there, and along with that, some sports docu-series like The Last Dance, that is based on the final season of Michael Jordan with the Chicago Bulls. I think I had not completely decided what I would do if not in the UPSC. Uh, so, but I think a natural course of event would have been to move towards the state services examination. However, I would say I had not given it a very serious thought, but I think I would have chosen the state civil services. In this, I would say one is the type of candidate who has given and not cleared but has different attempts left. And second is the person who has altogether gone out of the UPSC cycle. So for the first person, I would say that if 100% is required, you are at a level of 96 or 97. So only slightly you have to improve 3 or 4% and you will get through. Just have an honest assessment of your performance. Don't take drastic steps like completely changing the notes that you have, or completely starting from new books, or something like that. Just make small changes after an honest assessment. For people who have completely gone out from the UPSC cycle, I would say it is another job. So I don't think it is the starting or the end of life. You can find really good careers in other fields also. It is just, if our main motivation was to serve the nation, it can be done in various different fields also. The main problem that I faced was the lack of time, as I had just completed my graduation and had less than 9 months to prepare for the preliminary examination. So, for any person who is going to sit for the examination afresh, I would say focus really on the answer writing part, because I had started answer writing only after the preliminary examination and had written only two papers. So, I think that was the part that was lacking in my first attempt. So that is something that I would really encourage people who are going to write the exam for the first time to incorporate in their strategy. So, firstly, the message for future aspirants would be to come into the preparation after having a bent of mind as to why you want to do it. If the why is strong, then the how and where and what would come eventually. So, focus really on why you want to do this. And for society as a whole, I think this, as the Prime Minister has said, is the Amrit Kal. So, different sectors, if people come together and we work together, we will definitely have a developed India by 2047.